Hello and welcome back to my channel. I am Movement Mike Nimchek, and today we're going to go over part 2 of this kombucha video series, working on how to actually make the tea for brewing your own kombucha. A healthy, good, populated gut bacteria leads to a more happy and sound mind. With that being said, I want to go ahead and show you how I create the tea that I had behind me in the last video. So in order to make this part, you need to brew some tea. I prefer to do like a green tea, a chamomile. I've had very little success with making kombucha with black tea. I do a lot better with green tea or other herbal teas. I put like 4 or 5 little tea bags and boil that and put it in a container. So what I've been doing is I boil my tea in this teapot, and I use filtered water, and I'll show you here. I can't tilt it too much, but it's got a little metal basket that's perforated. I will pour it into my container. I pour that liquid in, and then I water it down and fill it up. And then what I do is I take one of these big bottles they sell now, and I dump the whole thing into here. And again, realize that I'm starting from scratch. I literally have my tea brewed, it's cooled down, and I want to start a culture, creating a SCOBY that I can transfer when I'm done with this, make more tea, fill it up to the top, and then put the SCOBY I've taken out and place it back in here. 48 ounces of kombucha going in there. You could probably use 2 regular size bottles, like a 16 ounce like this. But I like to put the whole thing in there. I've had, again, past experiences. I've found that it just doesn't quite do the trick when you're using two small bottles where you're doing 32 ounces. Instead, 48 seems to do the trick, at least with this. And again, you want to keep it in a dark, shaded area. I keep it right in here, in the dark, and then I put stuff in front of it here so that you don't have to worry about light interrupting the fermentation process. Organic cane sugar, so there's no fillers, no bleach, no nothing. This is very natural sugar cane. If you can see that, it's brown, a little bit tan brown. I'm not a fan of sugar, except for when it comes to brewing some kombucha. So I pour the sugar in there, and it's a fair amount. I like to eyeball it and say it's like about 3 or 4 cups. Once that's done, if you're going to handle your SCOBY, you want to pour that back into the container. I'm not going to do that yet, but I would just dump it right in there. And a new one will form at the top. And it'll keep repopulating. Every time you put a SCOBY in there on a fresh batch of brewed, cooled tea, put sugar in there, and then put the SCOBY on, cover it with a towel and a lid. I have my towel, and I have my lid, and I leave a little bit of space here because it is a glass on glass. I don't want to seal it off completely. I want it to breathe, but I also don't want a lot of stuff getting inside of it. So I kind of leave it cracked a little bit. You could also put a rubber band around it and just get rid of the lid altogether. I just put it on there at work, so there's not a lot that goes on in my space where I'm storing this while it's fermenting. And this allows it to breathe without stuff getting in. And if this is your first time, like I said, you're going to want to let it sit in there for about 6 to 9 weeks. I went all the way to 9 weeks. I wanted my brew to be very strong and full of healthy probiotics. I like it really, really strong. You want to keep the temperature around 68 to 72 degrees, like, house temperature. So look out for part 3 when I go over how to manage and handle your kombucha once it's been fermented. Until next time, keep going and keep growing. Physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Peace.